Hello and welcome to Live from Hesston and our Fendt IDEAL Combine event. It's great to have you here and I'm excited about the great information packed into today's event. My name is Kevin Forth and I'm the Tactical Marketing Manager for Combines here at AGCO. I'll be your MC for the day. I'd like to go ahead and get things started off today with a message from Morgan Stallings, our Director for Fendt Marketing for North America.
Hello and welcome to the Fendt IDEAL Live from Hesston virtual event. I'm Morgan Stallings, Director of Marketing for Fendt in North America. We're thrilled to have you joining us here today. This virtual platform is a great way for us to connect with you and more importantly to highlight how Fendt IDEAL can help add more value to your operations. We've seen and heard from customers all around North America about the advantages they're seeing on their farms thanks to IDEAL. For example, as a result of our dual helix rotor system, a lot of customers are seeing a lot less loss and in some instances even getting paid a premium at their local elevators due to the better grain quality. We conducted some in-field side-by-side competitive comparisons last fall in some tough threshing soybeans in Illinois, and we saw similar results. In fact, not only did we see 50% less loss, but we also saw a 19% fuel consumption advantage. That's right, 19%. The Fendt IDEAL Combine is just another example of how we're committed to delivering innovative solutions that add value to our customers' operations by increasing operating efficiencies, agronomic benefits, and netting a better overall return on investment. Today in North America, Fendt represents a full lineup of wheel and track tractors. Last year we introduced an exceptional new planter, the Fendt Momentum Planter, that is taking planter accuracy and productivity to a whole new level. Earlier this year, we introduced IDEAL AutoDock with our 9300 Dynaflex flex draper headers. This is another innovative example of how Fendt is helping growers like yourself get more done more efficiently. AutoDock will allow you to attach or detach your 9300 series Dynaflex headers with a single push of a button right from the cab in the IDEAL Combine, saving you hours of hookup time throughout a growing season. Of course, as with all our Fendt products, IDEAL is supported by our Gold Star Customer Care Program, a 3-year full machine warranty plus all scheduled maintenance plus a loaner guarantee. This helps you reduce your risk and helps you also manage your variable expenses. The team has a lot more in store for you here today, so I encourage you to enjoy our Live from Hesston virtual event. And if you haven't already, please visit our website at www.fendt.com to learn more about all of the latest offerings from Fendt or to find your nearest Fendt dealer. I hope you grow bold with Fendt.
Thanks, Morgan. As you can see, all of us here at AGCO are glad to have you here and we're looking forward to a great day of information about the IDEAL Combine. We're going to get things started off today with Josh Wells and Zach Staskell, who are experts on the Fendt IDEAL Combine, and they're going to go through the Combine and give you insight on what to check before you start harvest and how to set up your IDEAL Combine for max performance for the season. With that, I'll turn it over to Josh and Zach.
Thanks, Kevin. My name is Zach Staskell, Field After Sales Manager for AGCO Corporation, and joining me today,
I'm Josh Wells, Marketing Product Specialist for Fendt IDEAL Combines here in North America. We're going to start the tips and tricks section off up top, looking for some preventative maintenance items before you get started this harvest season. I'll join you up there in a second. Up top, there are several key things you're going to want to look for, and these are items not only that should be checked before the season, but also nearly every day as you go throughout the harvest season. We're going to go ahead and start off in the engine compartment by checking the engine oil. As we open the engine compartment, we'll go ahead and pull out our rag and check our engine oil. Much like any other item, you'll have your full and your add mark on the dipstick, which will allow you to know if you need to add any more oil or if you're good to go. And we are set on oil. When you have the engine compartment open, it's also important to look down into the cooling system and ensure that there's no debris or any buildup in there from last season. Also, you might have to look for any pests or critters that might have tried to make that area home over the winter. As we finish checking up our cooling system, you can also check the coolant reservoir and ensure you have plenty. I'm going to go ahead and close this up now as we're going to move back towards the rear of the combine, and we have a few more items to check up here. The next item we're going to check while up top is going to be our hydraulic oil fill level. And you can see this using the sight glass on the side of the reservoir. Once you've done that, you can check your rotor drive gearbox fluid, which if you have a class 8, 9, or 10 ideal combine, you're going to have 2 of those. Those dipsticks can both be accessed through holes in the floor, and you check them. They both have full and add marks on them, so you'll know if you're low or not. Once you've checked all the fluids up here, you're then going to want to check your air filter. We'll go ahead and pop the airbox cover off so we can get a look at that. This being a new machine, you're obviously still going to have a good air filter, but as you notice the element in the air filter starting to break down, then you're going to want to replace that. If it's just dirty, you can clean it with compressed air to keep going in the season. Also, while you're up here, you're going to want to make sure that this area is free of any chaff and debris before you begin in the morning, paying especial attention to any areas where stuff might build up around the fuel or the def area. You're going to want to make sure that's clean to make sure you don't get any intrusion into the tank. Now, with that, Zach's got some things on the left-hand side of the machine that he's going to show you. I'm going to finish buttoning things up here, and I'll send it down to Zach.
Thanks, Josh, for those important tips about lubrication. Now let's take a deeper dive into the left-hand side of the machine. So the first thing that you're going to look into on the left-hand side of the machine are the belts. Now the design of the Ideal Combine is a very simplistic driveline style. We have 13 belts, 1 chain, and 1 drive shaft. On the left-hand side of the machine, you're going to see various belts, such as the cleaning shoe drive and our rotor drive belt. When inspecting the belts, you want to make sure that there are no cracks, there's no obstruction, or there's no rubbing on the side of the belts. Rubbing on the side of the belts might tell us a few things, like misalignment or maybe wear on our bearings and other places as well. A few things you might recognize too on the left-hand side of the machine are our lubrication points. So looking at our lubrication chart right here on the toolbox, you can see that there are a few spots on the left-hand side of the machine that you want to hit, such as the rear rotor bearings, the front rotor bearings, your drive line, and your fan drive right here behind this shield. A few other things you want to inspect while you're on the left-hand side of the machine are gearbox fluid levels. So looking at a couple different gearbox, you have your front header drive gearbox, you have your main header drive gearbox, and then you have your center drive gearbox that all have sight glasses that are visible from the ground. We want to make sure that we look through our service manual and our operator's manual to see if our fluid levels are in the appropriate place. Now, one of the last things we want to inspect on the left-hand side of the machine is a drive chain for our unloading system. You can find that underneath this front shield up here on the left-hand side of the machine above the track. And what we want to look for is chain tension on there. So too much tension can cause the chain to wear out prematurely, and not enough tension can also wear the chain out and the sprockets in the system as well. So something to keep an eye on. Now we'll have Josh show you what to look for on the other side of the machine. Josh?
While you're over on the right-hand side of the combine, you'll also want to inspect your chopper drive belt, your rotor feeder belt, your shaker shoe belt, as well as the belts for your grain elevator. Inspect these belts thoroughly, looking for premature wear we talked about previously. While on this side, I want to highlight our belt tensioning system. If you did run into where your belt's not adequately tensioned, it's a very simple process to retension your belts. To check for tension, you want to make sure the washer is lined up in the hole on the sight gauge on the spring gauge. If it's not adequately tensioned, you'll just need to loosen your jam nut, tighten it up as needed, and then retighten your jam nut. Additionally, while you're on the right side, you can take the time to inspect your clean grain elevator. Open the door on the bottom of the elevator and ensure that all crop is cleaned out from the previous season. If your machine is equipped with Ideal Harvest, our combine automation system, you will have a grain quality camera installed on the back side of the clean grain elevator. You should take this camera off and ensure that it's cleaned properly to begin the season. Later on, we're going to have Jared walk through some of the calibrations on the machine. But before that, Zach has a couple more items he wants to touch on. Zach?
I've got a few more things I want you to look at on the left-hand side of the machine before you start your season. Now, one thing I want you to notice is this air hose that is wrapped up on the left-hand side of the machine. Now, this is very important to have before the season, during the season, and after the season. When you want to blow the machine off, air up a tire, whatever it may be, it's very handy to have onboard air. Another thing I want you to take into consideration is cleaning out your tailing system or making sure there's no obstructions before the season starts. So we have 2 access doors on our tailings elevator, and it's always a good routine to make sure you open those and keep out any obstructions you may see, or clean out any grain that came from last season as well. Another thing we want to look at on the machine is our track ride system. So if you notice in the monitor that it gives you an alarm that says track system pressure too low, there's a front and a back pressure for both the left hand and the right hand side tracks. You can pressurize that system using this charge hose that comes in the toolbox. So those are some things to think about as well. If you are low on pressure in your track system, you may want to inspect for leaks around your cylinders and also around your accumulators. With that, I'll turn it over to Jared to run through configuring machine in the cab and some calibrations you want to do before harvest.
My name is Jared Cook, and I am the Software and Electronics Manager located here in Hesston, Kansas. The team I manage is responsible for this combine for both its software and electronic systems. Today, we're just going to walk you through how to go through or find the calibrations that are available on your Ideal combine. It's a very simple process, but as a reminder, we just want to show you again. Starting out, we're going to hit this top right button found on your terminal. This will advance you to your combine main menu, and then towards the bottom right, there's a calibrations button. Initially, you may get a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of calibrations available on your combine, but as a reminder, not all these are required to do frequently or even annually. But we do want to remind you that some of the calibrations are important, especially as you switch between crop types or as you transition from field to field with different headers, etc. So the first one here on the top left is the header calibration. We want to make sure that you have a good header calibration as it impacts your auto header height control. And if you switch between headers, it may be healthy and necessary to go ahead and do that calibration, or if you start seeing performance differences as you harvest. As with all of our calibrations, they're very simple. Once you select that calibration, you'll get the acknowledgement and the preconditions to start it. You'll hit the green check, and it will automatically run you through the full calibration process. At the end of that calibration process, it'll give you a list of feedback, whether it passed or failed, or if it failed, what were the failure conditions. On a few of these, for example, like the cleaning system, the chaffer and sieve may be failed due to things that we are unable to detect, such as corn stalks or corn cobs in the physical sieve and chaffer. So when those calibrations fail, or if you feel like the control is off, we advise you to maybe get out and go and look at the rear of your combine and ensure that they're free of blockage. One other important calibration to do is your concave calibration. This one involves a few different steps. First, we got to make sure your concave calibration is zeroed. And to zero it, it is actually a manual process that the team will probably show you a bit later here. Once it's zeroed, we'll hop up in here, you run your calibration, and at the completion of that calibration, it's always healthy to go and check and confirm that what is displayed on your terminal here in the cab also matches what you measure at the physical concave. You can almost do that for any of the ones, sieve chaffer, for example, measure and confirm that those are accurate, but there's always going to be a little bit of tolerance. So as long as you feel comfortable with what is shown on your screen versus what's physically on the machine, you're probably good to go. One final one to highlight here before I hand it off is the unloader calibration. If you start seeing some, let's say maybe uncharacteristic behavior on the rotor swing, you like to maybe be a little bit smoother, or perhaps you change from one crop to another, it may be good to go ahead and recalibrate your unloader. It's a very simple and fast process, and it's just going to result in maybe a smoother or better experience of your operation of your machine. With that, I'm going to hand this back over to Zach, and he's going to walk you through some of the mechanical calibrations.
Following what Jared talked about in the cab, it's very important to come down and get your feet on the ground and verify what we're seeing for measurements in the concave area as well. So we want to focus on the number 1 concave and the number 4 concave. And we want to look at the 3rd bar in from the outside and the 3rd bar in from the inside when taking our measurements. We want to verify that what we're seeing on the ground here is also what we're seeing up on the monitor. Now, for what measurements you should be seeing and what our tolerances are, visit your operator's manual to see the differences between a large grain concave and a small grain concave. Now, when talking about verifying clearances, it's also important to look at the cleaning shoe. And with that, we'll pass it on to Josh to see what the chaffer and the sieve should look like.
As we've seen Zach do with the concaves, after a chaffer and sieve calibration, you need to do the same thing with your chaffer and bottom sieve. With the chopper rolled back, you're going to need to move your chaff spreader out of the way to gain access to the cleaning shoe. With access to the cleaning shoe, you want to verify that the measurement on your chaffer and bottom sieve are matching what you're seeing on the monitor in the cab to ensure that you're hitting the grain quality that you expect out of your IDEAL combine. These are just a few items we wanted to touch on to help you get your IDEAL ready for the season. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Kevin.
Thanks, guys. Really good information there on getting the combine set up for success for the harvest season. Remember, if you need additional information or you have further questions on getting your Fendt IDEAL combine set up for the season, refer to your operator's manual or see your local Fendt dealer. In addition to all the great information you're going to see here today, we are also answering questions in the chat. So feel free to enter a question in the chat and we'll have the experts standing by to get you the answer. In the next section of our program today, we will focus on the individual systems of IDEAL. Our experts will take us through and explain how the machine works and why, if you haven't yet, you should really take a hard look at a Fendt IDEAL combine. It's packed with features designed to make you more money, whether you're after higher capacity, better grain quality, lower harvest loss, or better fuel economy, or all of the above. You should really take a hard look at IDEAL. With that, I'll send it back to Zach and Josh for all the details on why you should be harvesting with a Fendt IDEAL combine.
Processing the crop all starts at the front of the combine and how you feed the machine. We've all experienced times where we're in crop and we feel like we don't have enough power to bring the crop through into the machine. Due to driveline inefficiencies or power sapping designs you may see on competitive machines, they're not able to get enough power to the header to get the job done. One consistent theme on IDEAL combines is a simple and efficient system, and that begins right at the feeder house. Direct power transfer to the feeder chain and header drives demand less power than hydraulic drives you may see on competitive machines. Now when you get into higher yielding and tougher crop, you're able to have enough power to bring the crop through into the machine. One other benefit of direct drives is a fully reversible system. If you've ever plugged a header or feeder house, you know what a time saver that can be. Additionally, every feeder house comes with two-way fore and aft as well as lateral tilt adjustment. This will ensure a quality cut from the header into the combine. Now for more on the processing system, I'll turn it over to Zach.
Once the material goes through the feeder house, it is transitioned into our processor section. That transition is made by our rotor feeder. Our rotor feeder has a unique design as it runs at 70% the speed of our rotors. So if you're running your rotors at 1,000 RPM, your rotor feeder will be running at 700 RPM. Now, the purpose of that design is to help the rotors grab that material out of the transition section and move it into the threshing area. Another important design of this is that our rotor feeder feeds the rotors on the bottom side. But some of our competitors in that transition section will feed the rotors directly in the middle, where we want to feed it on the bottom side, which will help pull that material through to the threshing area as well. Once we get to that threshing area, you're going to see 4 feet of concaves. In this area, we want to do 100% of our threshing and 80 to 85% of our separation as well. Looking at the rotor design itself, you see a two-stage staggered rasp bar design. Now what this does is it utilizes mechanical threshing, but also a lot of grain-on-grain threshing to promote straw quality coming out of the back of the machine and grain quality going in the bin. Now once you get through the threshing section, you look at our separation area. Our separation area is 8 feet long with a unique design itself. You look at 4 helical strands of tines in our separation area that sift through the material like a comb and helps get the grain out while keeping the material moving through our rotors. Now once that material moves through our rotors, it goes into a direct discharge into our chopper. The direct discharge from our rotors into our chopper is very important when looking at the design as a whole. When you notice that we have a direct discharge, you can see that we do not use a rear beater or rear accelerator, which is an area where you can have more wear and tear and also some more power consumption. This also promotes straw quality coming out of the back of the machine when following it with the baler. So now that you understand the processing system on an Ideal combine a little bit more, let's take a look at a real-life situation we've seen out in the field by comparing our Ideal combine versus a John Deere combine. Let's take a look at this comparison between an S-Series John Deere combine and an Ideal combine. The two big highlights are the dockage that you're seeing on the sample quality, but also the opportunity missed. Looking at the S680, you notice that the percentage of cracks and splits was 0.8%. It does not sound like a lot, but when you start looking at dockage in dollars per bushel, that's 12 cents per bushel. Losing 12 cents per bushel and getting no premium over 1,300 acres at 75 bushels per acre on beans can end up costing you $11,700. When analyzing the sample quality of the Ideal 8T, you notice that the percentage of cracks and splits is 0.1%. No dockage on the sample plus a premium for the quality gives you 24 cents a bushel. By adding 24 cents a bushel over 1,300 acres on beans that are yielding 75 bushels an acre, you could make a premium of $23,400. Looking at the difference between what you lose on an S680 and an Ideal 8T, the advantage of the Ideal 8T is $35,100. Now ask yourself, what would an extra $35,000 do for your operation every year? Now we're going to pass it off to Josh Wells, who's going to analyze our cleaning system. Josh, take it away.
On average, dockage and foreign material cost producers over 15 cents a bushel, while those with problem fields can see the value of their wheat decrease by 30 cents per bushel or more. The presence of dockage means that producers and elevators are paying to transport material which is removed from the weight at the point of sale. Ask yourself this question: how much opportunity are you missing out on with a dirty bin sample in your operation? Speaking of other possible missed opportunities, I'm going to have Zach Staiskell talk to you about residue management.
One of the most important but overlooked agronomic aspects of harvest is residue management. Improper residue spread can lead to uneven soil warming in the spring, poor plant germination, and ultimately lower yield. AGCO's agronomist Jason Lee conducted a study in 2018 at the PTI Institute in Pontiac, Illinois. He proved that too much residue in the furrow can physically interfere with proper seed-to-soil contact and uniform seeding emergence. The study showed that for every 1% decrease of residue in furrow, a direct yield loss of 1.1 bushels per acre was observed. Additionally, looking at the other end of the spectrum, the physical interference of residue over the top of the planted row can also block the shoot development for young plants. So in the end, not enough residue and too much residue both show a direct negative impact on yield. Uneven residue spread can be a challenge for soil temperature and seed germination, but also planter and drill setup. Even though most planters can be dialed in, the setup time during the crucial planting period can be costly. Utilizing the active spread system on Ideal, hydraulically driven straw spreaders can spread residue evenly up to 50 feet to match the increased popularity of large headers. This allows the operator to evenly distribute the crop across the full cut width of the header, allowing for even soil warming temps in the spring. Active spread is also fully adjustable. With the powered tailboard option, you can adjust the spread on the fly from the cab to compensate for wind or changing conditions. Our base cut chopper with 56 knives in 4 rows ensures residue is sized properly, which is crucial for breaking down residue into the soil. If pieces are too large, they may not break down as fast, and pieces that are too small may blow away easily with the wind, which can leave bare spots, causing soil warming issues. For those looking to drop a windrow behind the combine in crops such as wheat and barley, the system can easily be set from chopping to dropping for full, even windrows, great for baling. Now for how we unload grain from this IDEAL combine, let's join Josh to talk about the Streamer 6.0.
Thanks, Zach. Every hour and every day in the field counts when producers need to bring in a valuable crop ahead of the winter weather. Due to the narrow window of the season, producers perceive that a bigger combine is a better combine, or that they need more equipment to complete the harvest in a shorter period of time. What many producers fail to recognize is that combine size and threshing capacity isn't always the key to efficiency, and that they may be overspending or wasting their money on equipment that doesn't really address the efficiency issue. According to a 2019 farm machinery cost estimate that was published by the University of Minnesota, the average cost per hour to operate a combine is roughly $238, not including heads. If we take that study of $238 an hour, and we're only operating at 60% of the combine's efficiency when they are capable of 80%, we're giving up 20% of the expected performance. That 20% equals roughly $47.60 per hour that we're losing. So let's say you average 250 hours of harvesting each year. It could be costing you around $15,000 in lost efficiency if you're operating towards the lower end of that spectrum. It's not enough to have a combine that overpowers the balance of your transport cycle times and support system. If you have not balanced your investments in the machine, the head, the cart, the transport truck, and or the drying systems, you're going to find you're wasting time somewhere. The Fendt IDEAL Combine's 6 bushel per second unload rate is unmatched across the market, beating the closest competition by nearly 50%. In addition, its unload cycle efficiency is 20% higher than the competition, correlating to an averaged increased total in-field efficiency of nearly 6.5%. In an average harvest season, unloading a 485 bushel tank in 81 seconds means we're going to spend roughly 1,670 minutes unloading, which is just shy of about 28 hours. The competitive combine with a 400 bushel tank unloads in 105 seconds, equaling roughly 43 hours of unloading time in a season. This means that by using the capacity and unloading speed of the Fendt IDEAL Combine, that can save the operator 16 hours of unloading time throughout the season. That's nearly 2 extra days of harvest that can enable you to miss the poor weather conditions. Now for some other ways we can save you on time and efficiency. I'm going to have Zach go up top and talk to you about some of our engines and drive lines and how that can save you money with IDEAL. Thanks, Zach.
When crawling into the engine compartment, the first thing we want to look at is the engines we're utilizing in these IDEAL combines. For the Class 7 combine, we're using an AGCO power engine. For a Class 8, 9, and 10 machines, we're utilizing MAN engines. Now that power is directly driven into our drive center gearbox. From that drive center gearbox, our power is directly transferred to drives like our header drive, our clean grain drive, and our rotor drive. Now looking at direct drives, we start gaining efficiency over hydraulic drives. Now what do I mean by that? Well, looking at some of our competitors that drive big components such as the rotor and cleaning system with hydraulics, most hydraulic systems run at 80 to 85% efficiency. By using direct drives, the Fendt IDEAL Combine is running at optimum efficiency at all times. Now what does that mean to us in the end? Well, that difference in efficiency is costing us things like fuel usage or available power when trying to use the machine. Now, where can we apply this in the real world? Let's take a look at some of the comparisons we've seen in the past. Now let's compare apples to apples, an IDEAL 8T versus John Deere 780. Comparing speeds at 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4 miles per hour, you can see a major difference in fuel consumption. The IDEAL used on average 19% less fuel at all speeds. Also, looking at the efficiency, we were 28% more efficient in an IDEAL 8T than a John Deere 780. The 28% efficiency advantage comes from how many bushels you can harvest per 1 gallon of fuel. Looking at the difference between the two machines, a 28% difference can make a huge impact on your harvest. The one thing we also want to highlight here is the efficiency between the two machines. Remember, like I said before, when utilizing more hydraulic drives, you lose efficiency and waste horsepower. In this example, the John Deere 780 was unable to harvest at 4.5 miles per hour due to power restrictions. Looking at the Ideal 8T, it was also able to harvest at 4.5 miles per hour and keep that efficiency going. Now we'll take it back down to Josh, where he's going to talk about an exciting new feature available on this year's model year 2021 combines. Take it away, Josh.
I'm excited to share with you one of the newest innovations on our Fendt combines, and that's our optional Ideal Drive, which is available now on track ride models. Ideal Drive is an industry first, removing the steering wheel and adding a joystick on the left-hand armrest. With the steering wheel out of the way, it allows the operator clean, unobstructed views of the entire header, including at that most crucial area at the feeder house. No more straining your neck and leaning forward to see what's going on. Speaking of less strain, we at the University of Aalborg in Denmark complete a very comprehensive ergonomic study comparing Ideal Drive to a standard steering wheel operated combine. They concluded that by using Ideal Drive, it resulted in a 60% reduction in muscle activity, and its ease of use, especially while turning on headlands, resulted in a 6% increase in overall field efficiency. With that much less effort needed, Ideal Drive allows some of the long days during harvest to feel shorter. But we're not done with innovations, as I'm going to have Zach come back up here and talk about an exciting new option we have available on this year's combine as well. Thank you.
Ideal Drive is an innovative design that affords the operator comfort and performance. Just one of the many items on Ideal that make it a top performer in the field. However, last year we also released an industry exclusive item for model year 21 combines that is sure to excite many of you. Now, many of you who change fields often understand how cumbersome hooking and unhooking the header can be. Long days seem longer when it's your 10th time up and down the ladder that day, and if it takes you 5 minutes to hook up your header and 5 minutes to unhook your header, doing that 3 times a day is 30 minutes of lost productivity. If you harvest 10 hours a day, 30 minutes messing with your header is a 5% loss in productivity. Ideal has a revolutionary feature to solve your problems, and that is our new AutoDock system. In 5 seconds, all from the comfort of the cab, the entire header can be connected and disconnected. With the push of a button, drive lines, hydraulics, electronics, and setting configurations are all done. Again, all that is done within only 5 seconds without leaving the cab at all. So no more hard-to-turn PTO shafts or running around the header to hook up from the other side. No more climbing up and down the ladder or setting the header stop to hook up. No more forgetting to connect the single point and realizing it once you get back in the cab. AutoDock can save you hours throughout a harvest season. Key hours, where time and money would normally be wasted. This feature is available now on Ideal combines for our Command and Dynaflex series headers. We will also soon have kits available for third-party heads as well. We have talked a lot about the features that make the Fendt IDEAL combine a great choice for you in your operation. With a high-performing combine like Ideal, Josh is going to take you through another feature that can save you time in the field and get you through those tough conditions. Take it away, Josh.
Thanks, Zach. The harvesting window continues to be shorter and shorter, with more acres and tough weather conditions. Wet conditions with heavy combines doesn't work well, but producers need the high-capacity machines to cover all the acres. What is often overlooked is the added weight and pressure that comes with higher capacity machines and what effect that can cause not only for this year's harvest, but next year's as well. That excess weight and pressure can cause unnecessary compaction, which slows emergence and can lower overall field productivity and yield, costing you thousands of dollars. That is why an Ideal track ride combine may be a great fit for you. Available in 26, 30, and 36-inch widths, we have the right size track for your operation. With the largest footprint in the industry, compaction is minimized. Track ride will also get you in the field even when conditions are tough. According to a study done by Ohio State University, 90% of the yield losses stemming from harvest delays will happen after mid-November. Finishing on time can be very important to maximize yield. If those aren't enough reasons to switch, our track ride system also provides great ride comfort with the triangular design suspension. Designed by our track team in Jackson, Minnesota, specifically designed for the Ideal combine. On competitive machines, they may use a third-party manufacturer or an off-the-shelf design that may compromise on comfort, performance, and durability. The track ride design is tested and provides not only the in-field performance demanded by today's growers, but the durability and comfort needed for a smooth operation. Additionally, unlike competitive manufacturers, IDEAL's tracks feature no daily maintenance intervals to save time getting started in the morning. For another way IDEAL can save you time and money, let's have Jared get back up in the cab and tell you about IDEAL Harvest.
The biggest advancements are not actually happening as it relates to steel and hydraulics. It's actually happening within the software and electronics of this machine. Some of the biggest gains in efficiency, uptime, overall just harvest experience happens inside this cab. And one of the ones I want to talk to you today relates to harvesting automation. Your Fendt combine can come with an IDEAL Harvest. IDEAL Harvest provides the level of combine automation to your operation that helps increase efficiency and productivity. Do you ever wonder how much changes in crop and variation machine performance that happens throughout your harvesting day? Do you recall how often you make setting adjustments or changes to your machine to account for those varying field conditions or harvesting conditions? Do you wonder what type of efficiencies or what type of impact that may have to your operation or your bottom line if you are making smaller incremental adjustments? Or do you also wonder if you had maybe a little bit less stress, how much longer you could run, how much more you could focus on other logistics or operational needs? IDEAL Harvest provides those opportunities to make those small adjustments to maintain your combine performance throughout the day. It will make the adjustments to help maintain that productivity, to maintain that grain quality, to maintain that desired overall machine performance. If you were trying to do this manually and you wanted to check your machine performance, let's say 5 times per day, in order to make those adjustments, you'd make your combine adjustment. You'd stop your combine, you'd hop out of the cab, and you go probably dig on the ground, maybe hop up and take a look in the grain bin. And perhaps this might take anywhere up to 5 or more minutes of your day. And if you did that 5 times per day, that equates to about 30 minutes lost per day. Over a period of a harvest season, on average, that adds up to about 18 hours of lost harvesting time. That's a full 2 days of harvest that you either could be harvesting additional acres, you could be focused on maybe the logistics, grain marketing, managing your team, or you could just have the less stress of just being able to finish early. IDEAL Harvest provides opportunities for you to further optimize and increase the efficiency of your operation. So the question is, what can IDEAL do for you? We're going to hand it back over to David Holt to talk to you a little bit about headers now.
Thanks, Jared. I'm David Holt. I'm the Chief Engineer for Headers here at AGCO. Today we're going to talk about some of the key features on the 9300 series Dynaflex header and the 3300 series corner header. Let's start with the 9300 series Dynaflex, which is designed to provide smooth, even crop flow into your Fendt IDEAL combine. The Dynaflex header is available in widths from 25 to 50 feet and can be operated in both flex mode and rigid mode. The cutter bar gets its flexibility from the hydraulically supported tilt arms located every 30 inches across the length of the header. This gives the cutter bar a flex range of 8 inches and giving you the ability to cut close to the ground in rolling conditions. For the sickle, we offer 2 options, the Schumacher cutting system or the standard AGCO sickle. All sizes of the Dynaflex have dual drive sickles driven from each end of the header. In order to get the crop into the combine, the drapers provide a simplistic design that requires less maintenance and promotes less downtime. The side drapers are variable speed, so you can adjust the draper speed to optimize crop flow into the center. In the center, we have either a standard notched flighting auger or an optional finger drum feeder. The reel on the Dynaflex is a robust design with a large center tube and heavy-duty tine tubes. The plastic tines are designed to hold up in tough conditions and are adjustable from the end of the header. Now let's go over some of the options that are available for your Dynaflex header. To reduce stress on the operator, we have optional stabilizer wheels available. These help you maintain consistent cut height in both rigid and in flex mode. We also have a transport kit available, which mounts directly beneath the header to the header frame, and it folds out of the way when harvesting and then folds down quickly for transport and storage. The header comes standard with cutter bar sensors for flex mode, but when cutting off the ground, you can choose between either the standard drag rod with 2 steel drag rods, or you can choose the head sight drag rods with 4 drag rods, which are mounted directly behind the cutter bar for better ground following performance. For canola, we offer factory installed top augers and side knives for all sizes of headers. We also have an optional sealing package to seal around the center deck to prevent crop loss under the side drapers. This was a quick look at the 9300 draper header for your Fendt IDEAL combine, a header that will provide you smooth, consistent feeding and reliable operation. Next, let's review the 3300 series Command corn header. The Command corn header is available in 30-inch spacing in 8, 12, and 16 row widths, and all sizes are available in both chopping and non-chopping configurations. In order to get the crop into the row units, the snouts on the 3300 series header have a low profile design with an adjustable entry angle to help pick up down and tangled crop. The snouts are made from a durable polyethylene and are shaped to promote crop flow into the row units and help keep cobs controlled in down and tangled crop. The back of the snouts is designed to help prevent cob loss, and an optional ear deflector is available when needed. Behind the snouts and gatherers is the large 20-inch diameter auger with 30-inch pitch flighting. This allows the auger to turn slowly, preventing ears from being thrown forward. At the center of the auger is the standard center hood to help control the feeding in the center. At the heart of the Command corn header is the row units. They are driven with a high-efficiency gearbox that requires less power to operate. The snapping rolls are designed with replaceable knives configured in a point-to-point design that aggressively pulls the stalk through the deck plates to strip the ear. As an added benefit, the point-to-point design crimps and conditions the stalk to aid in breaking down the residue left in the field. The beveled shape of the deck plates is designed to match the shape of the bottom of the ear to reduce butt shelling when the ear impacts the deck plates. For model year 2021, we redesigned the entry section of the deck plate and the front idler support to reduce the gap between the gathering chains and the deck plates, and this reduces row plugging. The optional chopper is available in a 2-blade design, which promotes a better quality of cut. The blades are reversible with laser-clad hard surfacing, which continues to maintain a sharp edge as the blades wear. The chopper is located behind the stock rolls to eliminate ear loss. This allows the stock to be pulled through the deck plate before chopping it. We also have stock stompers available for both chopping and non-chopping corn headers. The stomper mount is integrated directly behind the row unit for better performance. As a final topic, the corn header is pre-wired for both Ricart row guidance and head sight header height drag rods. Both sensors are available from AGCO for field installation. Now that we've gone over the highlights of the 3300 series Command corn header, I think you can see how this corn header can accentuate the Fendt IDEAL combine and provide you with efficiency and worry-free operation. We would also like to make you aware of our other header options for your Fendt IDEAL combine. Beginning this year, we're expanding our header offering by partnering with Gearinghoff to provide a flexible draper header, a sunflower head, and corn headers. These headers are being offered in addition to the AGCO headers. The flexible draper head will be available in 35, 40, and 45 foot widths and feature a 3-section rigid or a flexible cutter bar configuration. The corn headers are available in 6, 8, 12, and 16 row widths and available as rigid or folding. All corn headers are available in 30-inch configurations as well as narrow row spacings. The row units also include a stock chopper, and there's an optional corn reel if needed. Together, AGCO and Geringhoff offer the largest header offerings in the industry, allowing our customers more choices and the greatest flexibility for their operation. Thanks for joining us today and learning more about the header offerings for your Fendt IDEAL Combine. And with that, I'll send it up to Mark to tell you about the Gold Star program.
Thanks, David. We're going to spend our time in this session talking about the Fendt Gold Star Customer Care Program, specifically for the IDEAL Combine. We'll discuss what Gold Star is, what is included in Gold Star, and the benefits and value of Gold Star. So let's get started. So what is Fendt Gold Star? Gold Star consists of 4 different categories and is part of all Fendt products. Let's take a high-level look of what's included with the Gold Star program. The warranty, simply put, best in the industry. No other manufacturer has a 3-year warranty that comes standard with every machine. The service. Your dealer will send a factory-trained technician to service your combine when the need arises. The parts. All parts used in repair or maintenance on your combine are genuine AGCO parts, including all of the fluids used. And all AGCO parts also have the AGCO Parts Advantage warranty, a 1-year warranty on the part installed and a 6-month warranty on the labor to install the part if it is installed by an AGCO dealer. The 4th category is the loaner program. We have great quality and reliability built into our machines, but they are still a machine that operates in adverse conditions, so problems may occur. If it does, Fendt backs that up with a loaner program to keep you harvesting if anything should happen. Let's take a look at how Gold Star program applies to the IDEAL Combine. Specifically for IDEAL, the warranty is 3 years or 1,250 engine hours, whichever occurs first. The warranty is a full machine warranty with $0 deductible. That can put your mind to ease for any repair expense for the first 3 years you own your combine. Along with the warranty, all the factory recommended maintenance is included throughout the warranty period. Yes, all parts and labor required to complete the maintenance at the required intervals is covered. Along with this, the technician will also complete a machine inspection each time they perform a maintenance on the machine. Call this a preventive maintenance inspection to look over the complete machine and ensure everything is operating correctly and there are no signs of wear or damage that may result in downtime in the future. They will review this inspection with you and let you know of any areas that need attention immediately or areas that need to be looked at more in depth after harvest is complete. And if you don't put hours on your machine to meet that first maintenance interval, you're still guaranteed an annual maintenance and inspection. We discussed the loaner program as part of Gold Star. What this means for you is that if there is a failure on your combine and it is determined that it cannot be repaired within 24 hours, the dealer will work with you and provide a loaner machine if needed to keep you harvesting while your machine is being repaired. This loaner machine is provided at no cost to you as part of the Gold Star program. In addition to all these components of Gold Star we talked about, all machines sold after January 1, 2021 also receive 5 years of Fendt Connect included as base equipment. This allows you to monitor your machine and gather the data needed to improve your operations. So as we continue, let's discuss the benefits of each of these areas and how it can improve your ownership experience. The guaranteed annual maintenance. Regardless of the hours put on your machine, you can rest assured you will receive an annual oil change and machine inspection. This is beneficial to those who use their combine for less than 500 hours and provides the same benefits as a regular maintenance interval would. Dealer technician will complete the maintenance and inspection and provide you with the peace of mind that the dealer tech will visit your machine at least once per year. There is also the benefit of trade value for your machine since the dealer knows that it was maintained properly and has the records to back that up. We talked briefly about the preventive maintenance inspections and the technician completing these inspections at each interval. They will perform a 60-point inspection. By providing this inspection, they are able to identify emerging issues before they occur, which in turn reduces possible downtime on the machine. All these inspections are completed and recorded in a database for future reference and provides a machine maintenance history during the trade process. We all know the importance of keeping a machine in the field during harvest. With Gold Star and the loaner program, you will have just that. If it is determined your machine cannot be repaired within 24 hours after the diagnosis, the dealer will provide you a loaner machine until yours is repaired. This will reduce your downtime as well as allowing you to complete your harvest while the repairs are being made. The Fendt Connect subscription provides you and your dealer a number of benefits. By having Fendt Connect included with your machine for the full warranty period plus an additional 2 years, this allows you access to fleet management solutions, letting you know not only where the combine is, but also key metrics on your machine. Your dealer may also have visibility to your machine, which allows them to monitor performance and have some diagnostic capabilities, and will allow them to know the hours on your machine to keep up with the scheduled maintenance that needs to be performed. With all the benefits that Gold Star program brings to your operation, let's take a quick look at the value. So the Gold Star program will provide you with a lot of value over the life of the machine. First, let's talk about the quantifiable values Gold Star brings. Of course, the big value of the program is a 3-year, 1,250 engine-hour warranty, longest manufacturer warranty in the industry. You're provided 3 years of maintenance with all parts and labor paid, along with a machine inspection at each interval. You'll have the loaner support throughout the warranty period, as well as the 5 years of Fendt Connect. All this is included with the machine purchase. There's also a number of intrinsic values that apply. With the loaner program, 3-year warranty and maintenance included, there's mitigated financial risk for you. You'll improve your uptime in the field, and the dealer will maintain contact with you by performing the maintenance and inspections on your combine, which will further advance your overall experience. And with the dealer knowing the machine was maintained and serviced properly, all works to improve your trade value when you decide it's time for a new IDEAL combine. So it's hard to believe with all these features of Gold Star that we've discussed, but the best customer support program in the industry can get longer. This can be accomplished through Gold Star Plus. Gold Star Plus is available through your dealer, which provides additional warranty coverage for 5 years, and you can select the hours for the extended coverage that best fits your operation. Either 1,200, 1,600, or 2,000 overall hours can be selected. This will provide you up to 5 years, 2,000 hours of warranty if you select this option. The coverage is complete machine coverage with $0 deductible and also includes travel time and mileage not only through the extended warranty period, but throughout the full 5 years of coverage. Again, this mitigates financial risk throughout the warranty period selected. The Gold Star Plus also includes all the maintenance required throughout the hours of the coverage you have selected, as well as a preventive failure inspection throughout this period. How would this coverage best fit into your operation? Visit with your dealer and he can provide more details about Gold Star Plus options and coverage. We've shown you a number of ways that the Fendt Gold Star provides benefits and value to you as an IDEAL customer and to provide you with a customer program to take care of you and your machine. Thank you for being a Fendt customer and taking the time to be with us today. Now we'll send it back to Kevin.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. Again, if you have any questions for our experts, we are standing by to answer them. Simply enter them in the chat and we will get you the answers. We understand that we can tell you all the amazing things about the Fendt IDEAL Combine, but maybe it's better to hear it from our customers who have been using the machines in their own fields. Last fall, we went and talked to some owners, and we wanted to share with you their thoughts on IDEAL in their own words.
I'm third generation at this point, and we were running a John Deere combine before. It seemed like we were constantly needing to have a second grain cart, and then repairs approaching $15,000 a year, and we're trying to cover a little over 3,000 acres. We can't shut down.
You can just talk to the farmers and the issues that they're facing for the last 20-some years. We now have a solution. And so we're going to go that extra mile on warranty. We're going to go that extra mile on parts because it's something they've never experienced before, and Fendt does that.
When I start thinking about harvest in the fall, you have a little bit of apprehension, like, will the machine work? Will it continue to work? And in my lifetime, I've never had a dealer do what this dealer did. They checked the machine over, they're there with us, went through the settings, and then the Gold Star warranty program gives me peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to have a large surprise sometime during the harvesting season, because in the past that has bit us and bit us hard.
That Gold Star piece is like a security blanket, and if you can keep the combine going back and forth, you will gain that customer's respect.
The Ideal has set the benchmark for the harvester world. There's no shifting, there's no fade, it's very nimble, and it doesn't matter how fast you harvest, you will always have the same clean grain tank sample, and it's better than anything that I've ever ran.
That's what really surprised us, is a feature called Harvest Plus, where it senses the amount of flow that's coming through the feeder house. And I never envisioned that a machine automation feature like that could work that quickly. But we're pushing the 4,000 bushel an hour mark, and the harder we push it, the cleaner our sample ends up being.
We've had bins go bad because of the pods in them, so it's very important to have a clean sample, which this machine does.
We can get the grain sample, we can get the low loss, we can get the residue discharge, and with that, it's a good experience.
And then with the larger tank, we have more time for the grain cart to come back. So I could say it saved me $300,000 by not having to put another tractor and grain cart in the field.
It's allowed us more time to get more acres covered. And we thought John Deere was the finest, and we didn't think you could top that, but I believe we have with Fendt.
Fendt has made our farm better. They got it.
This was my first fall running an Ideal combine, and the end user was wanting to know how we were getting such a clean sample, and I said, well, I'm not doing it, the Ideal combine is. When I think of Fendt, I think of 3-year warranty on a combine and technology, and I didn't want to be the last to make the switch. I want to be the first.
Farmers don't want to look bad in front of their neighbors, and Fendt has made them look good, and it's elevated their status in the community.
Being able to have a lot of capacity and still get a picture-perfect grain sample has decreased the amount of time it takes to harvest, and we get another 10 cents a bushel for cracked and broken premium, which we had no problem meeting even at 19-20% moisture.
We reduce the aggressiveness and we get crop to flow more gently without causing all the unnecessary grain damage like a lot of competitive machines.
No pods in the tank, no splits, and being able to spread bean trash 45 feet makes cultivation in the spring a lot easier with even moisture. And if the Momentum planter is as good as the combine is, that could revolutionize our seeding and how we go about planting, keep things moving.
I think the customers really do say it best. If you haven't looked at Ideal, you might be missing out. Once again, our experts are standing by to answer your questions in the chat. And remember that trying an Ideal in your own field is as easy as contacting your local Fendt dealer and asking for a demo. Then you can see for yourself how the Fendt Ideal can increase your productivity and efficiency. Our last section for today is a look at some information that we were able to gather last fall. We were able to run the Fendt IDEAL combine next to a few competitive machines and gather some data. Here again to walk us through it is Zach and Josh.
Thank you, Kevin. We're going to start off by looking at a head-to-head comparison we did last year against a John Deere S780 in Central Illinois and high-yielding soybeans.
This is the Fendt IDEAL 8T. Let's head to the field.
everybody, I'm Zach Stayskull in the cab of a Fendt IDEAL 8T combine. Today we're in Stanford, Illinois, harvesting soybeans. They're running about 70 to 75 bushel an acre, running about 10.5% moisture. We're going about 3.5 to 4 mile an hour, cutting with a 40-foot head on the front of here. What we're seeing today is very minimal loss out of the back of the machine. The last couple loss checks we've done, we've been kind of between the quarter and half bushel mark. Having pretty good luck and having a lot of fun and getting some soybeans off of here. We've been running head-to-head with the John Deere, and what we're looking at on fuel consumption is we're running about 17, 18 gallons per hour with the similar load, the similar situation settings with the John Deere. They're running about 25, 26 gallons an hour. So in an hour's time, just figure $2 on diesel, you're saving, say, 8 gallons an hour. You're saving $16 an hour. That's enough to pay the hired hand, the cart driver, the truck driver, whatever it may be. So a lot of things to think about there too when looking at the overall performance of the machine.
But it's not just about superior in-field performance, it's also about risk management and helping you manage your variable expenses. And that's why every Fendt IDEAL combine comes standard with our Gold Star customer care program. A 3-year full machine warranty, plus all scheduled maintenance, plus a loaner guarantee, and 3 years of our Fendt Connect advanced telematics services. For more information on our Fendt IDEAL combines and how Gold Star can help keep you up and running, visit our website at www.fendt.com.
That was a great example on how we excelled head-to-head in the field against the John Deere 780. Additionally, we went head-to-head against the Case IH 8250 and high moisture, high yielding corn in central Illinois. Let's look at the results by the numbers. Josh, lead us off.
Thanks, Zach. The first numbers I want us to look at are going to be those important grain loss numbers. So if we're looking at the results there, at 3 miles per hour, the Case IH had over 1 bushel an acre more loss than the IDEAL combine. However, once we turned it up to 4 miles an hour, the Case IH was nearly 7 bushels an acre more loss.
So when you start thinking about capacity as well and loss, how that works together, we wanted to make sure we kept a certain threshold that we stayed under for loss. It's something that was acceptable, but somewhere where we could get measured too. So looking at the Case IH, the max bushels per hour that was able to push with acceptable loss was 3,000 bushels an hour. You start looking at what we were doing with the IDEAL, we could reach 4,800 bushels per hour. Now the difference between the Case IH at 3,000 bushels per hour and the IDEAL at 4,800 bushels per hour is not just 1,800 bushels an hour, but the Case IH at 3,000 bushels an hour was losing 3% out the back of the machine. The IDEAL at 4,800 was losing 0.5% out the back of the machine. So not only are we covering more ground in shorter time, but we're also losing less out of the machine. So speaking of covering more ground in a period of time, what do our acres an hour look like?
Well, once you start talking about the capacity differences like that, you're going to see some astounding numbers for the capacity differences of what you're covering. So that Case IH at 3 miles per hour was able to achieve roughly just under 11 acres an hour. However, the Ideal was able to run 6 miles per hour with acceptable loss. At nearly 22 acres an hour, you're doubling the capacity. So when you start thinking about hours per year and what that more ground coverage is going to mean for you, so if you say that farm was 3,000 acres, the Case IH is going to take roughly 275 hours per year to harvest that ground, whereas the Ideal, which is able to run faster in the field, is going to take roughly 138 hours a year. So once we go back to that University of Minnesota study we mentioned earlier about the $275 an hour a year to run your combine, you're looking at nearly $38,000 more a year to run your Case IH. And that can't be all the savings.
Exactly. So you start looking at hours per year and how that affects us when we start talking about total efficiency and productivity. So let's think about fuel consumption as well, because that's an input that we always have every year. But how can we negate some of that cost? So looking at that Ideal at 6 miles per hour, we were using about 17.5 gallons an hour. Looking at the Case IH going half the speed, it was still using 17 gallons of fuel an hour. So it's going to take 137 more hours for the Case IH to get the job done, which is going to equal about 2,260 gallons more used by the Case IH than using an Ideal combine. So if we figure that gallon at $2.50 a gallon, that's almost $6,000 more in fuel per year used by the Case IH versus an Ideal combine.
Wow, just in hours and fuel consumption, you're over 40,000, and that's not even counting in the grain loss differences.
It's a huge difference. It's amazing what you could do with $40,000 a year more on your operation. But looking at the benchmarking that we did with the combines, that's not the only thing we did last fall. Let's take a look at some of the benchmarking we did with the headers as well.
Last year, we also took the time to see how our headers stacked up against the competition. And those same 70 bushel plus tough cutting seed soybeans that we went head to head against the John Deere S780 in, we also took the opportunity to put our 9340 Dynaflex Draper header up against the stiff competition of the MacDon FD140. While both the Dynaflex and the MacDon did a good job harvesting the soybeans, the results of our study are clear. The Dynaflex header had on average 47% less loss than the MacDon.
We found this difference in loss to be fairly consistent regardless of ground speed of the combine. In addition, over the course of 1,000 acres, this grain savings can save the customer over $2,800 in harvest loss. Looking at these savings, coupled with the savings of the combine, maybe it's time to see what Fendt can do for your operation. Now we're going to hand it back to Kevin.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully all of you have learned a little bit more about the Fendt IDEAL Combine today and how it can make your harvest more productive and efficient. Please check out our website for more details at fendt.com/us/combines. Or please see your local dealer and they can set up a customized demo for you at your farm so you can experience the power and the efficiency of the Fendt IDEAL Combine for yourself. From all of us here at AGCO, we thank you for joining us today and we will see you out there in the field.